Okay, so first part of making Mount Rushmore, I need to find a cliff face, and I do need to look up cliff face specifically because I want to see the facing cliff, not the side of the cliff, or not the pointy bit of the cliff, but the actual cliff itself, something like this. Now, I'm not going to use this one here. It's a good one. I've used it before in a previous attempt at this tutorial, but I want to choose something different for this tutorial. So, oh, this one looks good. We'll use this one. Here's my cliff face. I'm going to save that. I'm going to put it in my downloads, and then I'm going to go find. I've already got a picture of a person. Can we be quiet, please, Toby? But I'm going to need now a cliff texture. I need to find a cliff texture that matches that. So I'm going to look up grey rock texture. I'm going to try to find one that's somewhat similar. It needs to be kind of lumpy like that one too. So maybe if I put lumpy grey rock texture. All right, here we go. Let's have a look. Still not quite the right. You've got to be careful that you do match the texture pretty closely to what you've got. So if my texture is this one here, then I need to make sure I've got a similar one to that. Oh, this one looks okay. We'll go with this. All right, I've got my texture. I'm going to save that as the texture. So now I've got everything I need to actually do it. The first step, I need to import my cliff into Photoshop, so it's dragging it in. And wait for it to load. Okay, so I've got my cliff. Now I need to import the face I'm going to be using. So I'll use this face here. There we go. It's actually just the right size, which is good. Now I need to do is I need to get rid of all the background. So I'm just going to highlight the face. Yes, that's exactly what it is. All right, so I've got my face. Now I don't want to select too much of the hair because having the hair is actually a bit of a problem. So I've got to be careful as to what I'm selecting. So there we are. I've got the face. Now I can press delete. At least I would be able to press delete if it wasn't a smart object, which is a pain in the butt. I'm going to have to delete this one and redo it. It's actually really annoying because I had it all set up. So I'm just going to delete that layer. I'm going to make sure it's not importing a smart object. So I can actually probably do the same thing again because I've got the selection still there. I'm just going to go into my preferences here into general. I'm going to untick always create smart objects in placing because I personally find that really annoying. And I'll import it again. There we go. Now I'm going to reselect again. There we are. Make sure I don't have the neck. I just want the face itself. Make sure it's a nice smooth selection. It's going to take a few attempts to get exactly the bit I want, but that's right there. Now I'm going to copy that. I'm going to paste it again. It's a new layer. I'm going to delete the original layer. I'm going to unlock the background layer. So I've got my face. Now, if you're doing proper Mount Rushmore, you need 4 of these. You'd sort of one here, one here, one here, one here, etc. It basically repeats the same thing 4 times. I just need one face, so I'm going to keep my one face here. I'm then going to need to make this face black and white. So for that, I go Control-Shift-U to make it black and white. And I'm going to duplicate that layer. Then I'm going to hide one of the layers for the time being. Now what we need to do, we've got our one layer here. We need to first make a new layer. It's an empty layer. And it needs to have a white background. Next, you go back to this layer again. You go filter, you go noise, and you go median. We need to make it reasonably blurry. Now, I don't want it too blurry. It needs to be blurry enough that you can still see the facial features. So I think 3 is probably going to be good enough. Maybe even 2. Let's have a look. What's 2? Yeah, let's go for 2. So it's reasonably blurry. You don't want to make it 5. 5 is just too blurry. Go for about 2. Make it somewhat blurry. Then what you need to do is you need to go make it a little more blurry, funnily enough. So we're going to go filter, blur, Gaussian blur. And we're just going to blur that, not by 2. 2 is too much. Go 1 pixel. Just a little bit blurrier. There we go. Okay, now what we need to do, to be honest, I want to get rid of that little bit of extra face there, so I'm just going to erase that so it's nice and smooth. Same with the rest of this. You know, you do want it reasonably smooth, so I'm just going to go around and smooth off the top of the head here. There we are. Okay, now we need to merge the white layer and this layer together. So So merge those layers. And we need to duplicate this layer from this panel, and we need to save it as a new document. And we're going to call this displacement. Okay, so we've got a displacement layer here. We're going to save it here onto our computer. I'm just going to put it in my downloads as displacement. Now, I've already got one here from previous, so I'm just going to resave it as that one. Maximize compatibility. So now I've got my displacement layer. Next, I can go back to my ordinary layer. I can remove that layer now. I don't need it anymore. I've just got these two layers here. I'm going to select this one. Next thing we need to do, we need to get our texture we're going to be using. So I'm going to go get my texture. I'm going to bring it into here. Here's my texture. Bring it in. I need to make sure it sort of fits the entire canvas. So I'm holding down Shift while dragging to make sure it's fitting perfectly. There we go. Now I need to displace this. Okay, so now we're going to go Filter, Distort, Displace. And if it's okay with that, we're going to select our displacement map. And now it has been displaced. It's a bit hard to see, but there's a little bit of a shape here. So now we need to Command or Control click on the previous layer, the layer of the face, to get a selection around the face that we're copying. Then we need to go create a layer mask using the layer mask creation tools. Now you can see the only bit that's got the texture on it is my actual face. And then I need to go down to normal here, and I need to change it to overlay. Now it looks like my face is there. Last thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to change the gamma, basically, of this, the brightness contrast, to make it look more obvious that my face is on the cliff. So I'm going to make that a bit brighter, a bit darker, get it about right so that I can really see my face on the cliff there. And that's it. It's not perfect, but I have made my face into a rocky outcrop on the cliff.